that's good.
I haven't found my first Blanton's.
Wow. That's different. I really like that.
Peychauds or Peychauds or...
Yeah, now I'm gorgeous.
Although probably fuzzier was better.
Okay. So, this is not what I expected. Hey, it's Thursday and it's time for the Bourbcast. How are you doing? I'm having a really relaxed day. I wanted to get some work done and I ended up playing instead. It was kind of cool, actually. Well, part of the day was cool. I've been slowly but surely curating all my Bourbcasts, all the way back from day one. And by the way, tonight is number 90. And I went back and I reassessed some of those, and I had counted some twice, you know, like if I had 2 in one night or 3 in one night or something like that. I had gone through and I had kind of counted those as separate, and I decided, you know what, if I did 2 in one night, it's going to be like this number A and then this number B for the second half of it. So as of that, tonight is number 90, and I thought I could put them all on one page of the website, beautifulbourbon.com, and no, it's way too much for the website to handle, so I'm having to chunk it out, like 1 through 29, and then 30 through blah, 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 blah. So it's a thing, and plus that means I've got to upload them all to YouTube, too, which is an interesting endeavor as well. So Kevin is with us, and Patrick is with us. Hey, how are you, Patrick? Welcome. Tonight, well, let me first, I want to show you the photo, and if you are just joining us, you didn't see it at the very beginning, but I love this photo. I was kind of at a crossroads of what I wanted to do. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to the cemetery, and I'm going to put this down in a cannon. Because when I think of rum, I think of pirates. Arr. Well, it's kind of a strange shaped bottle, a little bit like the chicken cock bottle, and it's not going to fit down the barrel of a cannon. So I had to come up with something else. I just happen to have some of that, what looks kind of rustic wood, which is actually behind me. I took one of the panels down and laid the bourbon on, or the rye on top of it, and had that little pirate thing in the background. Kind of cool. So I'm happy with that. I think it looks good. It's going to look good on the website. It's going to look good on Facebook when I put it up there later. Got little twinklies behind me now. It's evolving. I'm continually evolving, and then probably next week I'll be upstairs anyway, because I think we're going to do a cocktail next week, and I like being in the kitchen when I do that. So anyway, okay, so let's move ahead. We are going to be doing the Redemption Rye Rum Cask finish tonight, and I know Kevin has his bottle. It's an older bottle, a little different labeling. I think different bottle shape too. This is the 2022 release. It came out earlier this year. And this is just a little bit different. And it's all rye except for a little barley. The mash bill on this is 95% rye, 5% malted barley. They finish it in Jamaican and Barbadian rum barrels, and the result is supposed to be a complex sugarcane sweetness imparted on the rum barrels. Aging process requires meticulous monitoring. They say no less than 3 months. So they're going to age the rye the way it's aged, and then they put it in a rum barrel after that for no less than 3 months, and then they have to monitor it and taste it and try it, just like any other chef would. Well, how's that taste? How's that taste? Oh, a little more salt, a little less salt. Oh no, salt. Oh no, put too much in. Okay. Redemption uses a rum cask finish, much like Angel's Envy finished rye does. Rum is a strong and unique tasting spirit. Producers have a harder time harnessing it in American whiskey. For all the praise that Angel's Envy Rye has received, it still remains one of the only true highlights of the technique, and even then it's considered polarizing to many whiskey drinkers. Well, we're going to find that out tonight, because we are going to try the Redemption Rye, and then once we're done with that, we're going to put it up against the Angel's Envy Rye just to see how they stand up against each other. Now, Josh Peters, who is from the Whiskey Jug, writes, "Rum casks are hard to work with." Michael's watching. How are you, sir? All right, let's get this poured. I'm trying not to sneak a sniff. I want to let it sit for a second. He said, rum casks are hard to work with. 70% of whiskeys barely get a rum kick to them. You get a teeny tiny bit of rum, and you're sometimes left wondering if the only reason you pick it up at all is psychosomatic. Like with the Irishman's Founder's Reserve Caribbean cask. 10% of the time the rum takes over, and the whiskey becomes overly sweet. Like with the Angel's Envy Rye. See, he didn't like the Angel's Envy Rye. He thinks it's too sweet. 18%, you get an enhancement that works. The rum presence is decent, but it isn't overly impressive. I was curious about this, so I went out and read several different reviews. I do have their tasting notes. I haven't really read the tasting notes, so I don't want to knock myself off of my own palate and my own nose tonight. I didn't read the tasting notes. I did read kind of their critique of this particular pour. And Angel's Envy Rye was mentioned a lot because this is, the Angel's Envy is one that is successful when it comes to finishing this in Caribbean rum casks. This is a favorite pour of a lot of people that I know, including myself. I really like this one a lot. So we're going to be trying that bad boy and seeing if it stands up at all. Oh, I was starting to tell you about what happened this morning that is totally cool. A local policeman lost his life this morning. There was, starting at about 2 o'clock in the morning down in Marion County, we're in Ohio, there was a car, an Infiniti, going well over 100 miles an hour. It was spotted in Marion County. It came on up through various counties and then made its way into the county that I live in. And they were chasing, and they got over 120, maybe over 130 miles an hour. Don't know anything about the suspects yet, but one of the Bluffton Police Department officers was laying out stop sticks, and the guys hit him with the car. They ran over him, and he did not live. He succumbed to his injuries, but I was monitoring it and keeping tabs on it all morning, listening to scanner traffic, and at about 12:50, they found and apprehended the third of the three suspects. One was apprehended pretty early this morning, pretty quick actually. They found him at a place where they had ditched their Infiniti, and they were running, and they went and they found a Toyota Prius. Of all things to steal and run away in, a Prius, a white one. Okay, all right. Well, they're ecologically considerate. Anyway, so the first guy, he stole the car, and they found him up in northeast Ohio near Medina. So they found him. I guess the car is beat up. They had to run him off the road. The second guy they found near the area where the car was stolen, and then the third guy wasn't far from there either. They're saying that he was hiding in a boat, which has been done before during the Boston massacre. Those guys were hiding in a boat. Anyway, so that's what the morning was like, and I want to, when I raise this glass, I want to kind of give a second to remember that fallen officer. We backed the blue, and now his family and his friends, and he's a coach, and he was a school bus driver. He did a lot of things, and he's going to be sorely missed. So we'll get to that here in a minute, though. Okay, so far so good. I like the nose on this. Got a really nice rye note. I'm not picking up a lot of the sweetness from the rum cask. There's some there when I really dig into it. It doesn't have a strong nose to begin with. 95% rye, 5% malted barley, and this is 94 proof. 94. Okay, so I'm just going to read off some of the nose notes that I got here. Josh from Whiskey Jug, who told us that rum casks are hard to work with, says graham crackers. I agree with that. Brown sugar, oak, copper, no. Citrus, no. Vanilla, yes. Herbal, herbal spice with a touch of cooking oil. Oh, I got to look for that one, but yeah. It's got really nice rye notes. I mean, when you think about the graham crackers and you think about brown sugar, you're thinking about baking spices, and that is normal when it comes to rye. Sometimes you get the grassiness, the green twigs, the shrubs. Yeah, but I always get that toasted cereal type of thing, and graham crackers and brown sugar kind of fit within that mold. Um, so Dram Street says dried stone fruit, apricot, persimmon, clover, honey. No. Clove and caraway. Mike's watching. How are you? Hey, you like the shirt, huh? This is a new one. Honey? No. Not to me. Breaking Bourbon says the aroma is pretty much what you would expect. Rye, spice, and cinnamon. Yes. Mingled with sweet molasses. Vanilla, yes. Oak, yes. Pleasant as it gently swells from the glass. The scents work together, but the aroma will make you do a double take. Okay. Hold on. What? There. Double take. The scents work well together, but the aroma will make you do a double take. Is familiar. As the scents come across at first, you'll get a sudden injection of rum that transforms it into something weirdly unexpected. Now, I will say, Breaking Bourbon, yes. As soon as you said graham cracker, yeah, you got it, Kevin. That's right. Now, Breaking Bourbon's review is not this bottle. It's from the 2020 release. But I would imagine they're not all that different. It's not like it's a single barrel. So, all right. Jeff is watching. I saw Jeff tonight. How are you, Jeff? Glad you could join us. Saw him downtown. I couldn't stay and talk because I had driven up onto the curb. There just wasn't enough room for my big SUV, and the guy behind me had taken the very front of his parking place, and you park on the curb. I was going in. There's a beer bar downtown that is changing their name, so they're selling off all their merchandise. So I picked up a T-shirt to help them out. It's like $4, but I wanted to wear this one tonight. All right. First of all, that packs a wallop. It's spicy. I'm feeling that go all the way down, and it's only 94 proof. Goodness gracious. Marcy is watching. Hello, Marcy. How are you? Welcome to the shoe. Ed Sullivan. The shoe. Yeah. Gosh, I'm not catching a ton of rum cask. There is a little bit of a sweetness on the back end of it. Sugary sweet. That could be that rum. Let me go forward again. That was the first taste. For me, there's a lot more rye in this than there is with anything else. I like it as a rye. I think this would be fantastic in a cocktail. As a matter of fact, one of the people that reviewed this, I just came across it a little bit. The folks at Breaking Bourbon say that it's an easy drinker. Sure, plenty of people will find joy in drinking it. Finish is flawed, which I disagree with. I think the finish is in some ways nicer than the mouth feel. It's got a nice mouth feel. It's got some butteriness to it. It's actually, I like it. The sweetness comes in the finish. And one of the things that Breaking Bourbon said was that you could treat this as a pre-mixed cocktail. As the palate suggests, the whiskey's 94 proof can be problematic. I don't think that I could call this a pre-mixed cocktail. It's not sweet enough for that. Now we'll see when we give it the rest of the treatment. Jeff says downtown parking just is plain it's not so good, no bueno. Especially if you're in a big vehicle, anyway. There were a few years ago they wanted to do reverse angle parking throughout the entire downtown. I like that idea. It didn't pass. We got it on one street, and it works well on the one street when people know what they're supposed to be doing. Otherwise, they go completely around and they turn in the wrong way, and then they get a ticket. Ha ha. All right, let's give this another go. Okay, as it sits, as the air gets to it, as I become used to it, the rum cask is more present. That sweetness, it's just so subtle, very, very subtle. But the more I drink it, the more I start to sense that sweetness around the sides of my tongue. And then, of course, after I take it down, I got the finish. It's nice. I like this. Let's give me just another little bit here. And the finish is relatively long, and the longer I sit here and experience the finish, it's still going on, the more I get that rum cask. It's just so subtle, but it just stays. The rye fades and the rum cask stays. That's kind of neat. All right. This has never been easy to get off of here. All right. Add a little water to it. I don't normally add much water, just enough to take it down a notch and spread it out some. Give it a good icky shuffle. Those of you who aren't Bengals fans won't understand that reference. I'm a little older than some of you. All right. All right. That's a pretty good swirl. Let's give it a shot, shall we? A little water. Okay. That killed the spiciness of the rye. But that's okay, because it brought out more of that sweet rum cask. I like that. I liked it before. I like that. I'm still going to tell you that I think this would be fantastic in a cocktail. Maybe one of the sweeter style cocktails, like an old fashioned or a Sazerac. I think that it would be good in those. They have a sugary base to it. I don't know that I'd do this in a Manhattan. The rum with this and the vermouth, if you use a sweet vermouth, I don't know. I think it'd just be too much. But I think it'd be great in an old fashioned. All right. I have a burp coming. Excuse me. Sorry. I made egg roll in a bowl tonight. It's sausage and cabbage and onions and mushrooms, and then you spice it with pepper and salt and cayenne pepper and lots of garlic. One of these days I'm going to put it in an egg roll. But egg roll in a bowl it's a hit around here. We emptied it. Matter of fact, my son looked at me and he goes, well, we're out of food now. And I said, are you full? He said, no. So I scooted my bowl across and he finished that up. I got dessert here, right here. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It killed the proof. It killed the 94 proof of the rye. Killed the spiciness. But by golly, that just balances it out. Oh, that's nice. I only added maybe quarter ounce of water. Didn't take much. I would say that the proof on this may be a little more delicate. The spices on this may be a little more delicate. I I don't know how long it's aged before it went into the rum casks. I probably should look into that a little bit. But it's delicate, but that water just evened it out nicely. You know what's next. These are my last 2 ice spheres, which means I'm going to have to make some more. And I did bring down, finally, the methods that I make my ice spheres in. This is the first. This is the first one I ever had. Second one I ever had. This is the one I used for a really, really long time, and I like this one a lot. But the only thing is, it only makes 2. It only makes 2 ice spheres, and you know, at that rate, I'm making them every week, and it takes 24 to 36 hours to get a good ice sphere. Clear, gorgeous, love it. So I decided to do something different, and I picked up the Wintersmiths. And this one, it's not without its flaws. It uses an immense amount of water, immense, compared to this one. This one seems to be very efficient when it comes to the use of the water in it. Whereas this one, there's a lot of water. This thing is only like, it's only this deep, right? So the rest of that is all water. It also isn't as easy just to throw together as this one is. But I can make 7 large ice spheres at a time. And once you get that learning curve down, it works pretty nicely. It also takes up a lot of extra room in the freezer that this one doesn't take up. So like I said, but I am getting 7 spheres where this one's only 2. So it's not without its flaws, but I do like it, and I'm excited to see what their engineering will do as they move forward in this process. This also comes with different molds. I've showed this one before when we had the green screen up and it disappeared in the green screen. Excuse me, but this is for a whole bunch of smaller spheres, and they're clear too. They're gorgeous. Excuse me, I just don't use them very much. So anyway, I thought I'd bring that up since I have to make a bunch of ice spheres. Again, we're down to the last 2 here. All right, so let's try this bad boy over a little bit of ice, and then the war will commence between the 2 neat drains. All right. Now I'm going to let this get a little bit cold, and I'm going to read to you the tasting notes as we go along. Tasting notes from the whiskey jug says honey, graham, oak, brown sugar. I agreed with all that. Dried fruit, meh. Cooking oil, they said that on the nose, eh. Nuts, herbal, copper, dried corn, and some bits of baking spice. Yes, baking spice, yes. Palate on the Redemption Rum Cask finished rye comes through a bit drier, but with a more pronounced sweetness and an extra nuttiness and spiciness, but still no big rum note. I can agree with that when it's neat. Get it on water, changes completely. Kevin says, I think I like it better with a little water. Burp. I know, burp, right? It's a burping rye. It is. It's burpy. I like it better on water too. It definitely brings out more that rum cask, I think. Finish, according to Whiskey Jug, is medium long. I would agree with that completely. Spice, fruit, copper. Where do they get that? I don't go around tasting copper. Do you? Oak, herbal, a touch of rum. This is me, especially on the legs. That's going to hold out longer. Finish slowly draws out to a warm, oaky herbal note, and right before it disappears, the only concrete rum note pops up. I agree. The longer you wait, the longer that rum note comes out. They say great balance, medium body, and a lightly oiled feel. I can agree with that. It's just got a great mouthfeel to begin with. Dram Street says the Barbadian casks give an earthy richness up front, while the Jamaican casks impart an earthy, fruity finish on the back end. The different lengths of finish help balance the sweetness of the rum barrels with the soft tannin and baking spice of the longer finish. For that one, I would say it's exactly the opposite. of what they said at Dram Street. I think that the rum side of it, the sweeter side of it, is what the longer finish is. Whereas the cereals tend to dissipate pretty quickly. The rye notes tend to go away, leaving the sweetness of the rye or the rum cask. So, but that's okay. That's what makes this fun. Is you're going to try something and you're going to get a completely different experience than I am. Kevin and I, our palates are really close. Not all the time, but our palates tend to be relatively close. So sometimes it's just a matter of somebody pointing something out. I needed a little bit of help tonight. I went back to the notes, and that helped me identify some of the things that I could not articulate as I was tasting these. Same thing goes back to Kevin, which I appreciate, and everybody should appreciate that. That's why we taste together in a lot of cases, whether it's online or in person or at a bar somewhere or a distillery. I have some news about the distillery, by the way. News coming up. So anyway, that's why we do this, because somebody goes, oh yeah, I do taste mint. Why do I taste mint in my whiskey? It happens. All right. According to Breaking Bourbon, heavy dose of rye spice greets you. I agree with that. Which transitions into a mishmash of traditional rye and rum flavors of spice, cinnamon, molasses, and brown sugar. Can agree with that. That's not to say the overall flavor is bad, but it's hard to taste individual flavors here. I agree with that. In a way, this makes it come across more as a simple pre-mixed cocktail. I disagree with that. It's enjoyable to drink. I agree with that. As long as you don't expect much. I didn't expect much. I never do. But I am impressed with the finish. And I am impressed with it over water. Now on ice, let us try this one, shall we? All right. Spencer's watching. Hey, Spencer. How are you? I'm glad you're joining us. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. We're doing the Redemption Rye Rum Cask finish. We tried it neat, and it was mostly rye, but it had a really long finish, and the really long finish gave us better rum notes. On water, that was superb. The rum notes and the rye notes blended nicely. On water, it was very good. Now we're trying it on ice, and I will tell you a little secret. Went to the dentist, so things are a little raw when it comes to the cold drink. I'm taking this sip and give me a leather to chew on or a bullet to bite on or something. Sensitive. Okay, let's try that again. I would say that, to me, it's similar to the water in that the rum cask is much more present on the ice ball. Kevin says that the ice is the worst of the three. I'm getting a different experience out of this one, Kevin. I will say that the flavors compared to all three, this is the most muted, but it's on ice. Anytime you add ice to your drink, it's going to mute the flavors. But sometimes it does balance them out some. This gives me some balance while still muting the flavors. Still, the best way to do this, I think, is on water. It's really quite tasty on water. All right, now, showdown time. Ha ha ha! Dun, 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 dun. We got the Redemption Rye Rum Cask, and we got these Angel's Envy finished rye, which is also done in a Caribbean rum cask. Caribbean, finished in Caribbean rum casks. Ha ha ha! I was right. So in this corner, we have the Redemption, and I'm using the same glass I used before. This is the first time I've opened this one. So it's not really fair. I haven't even reviewed this one yet. I should have done this one first. And then the next week, put them together. But I was too excited. Is that about right? Yes. Okay. And in this corner, It's no fair. They're both wearing the same colored clothes. All right. All right. We're going to. Okay, bump gloves. No, I'm not wasted. I'm just goofy. Okay. Okay. So we're going to start with the redemption. We're going to go back to the neat. Later, I will add, I'm not going to add ice to both of these. I decided not to, but I will add water to both of these. All right. So redemption, rum cask, finish. Okay. For this one, to me, returning to it neat, outside of the water and the ice, the rye notes are there. Very there. I said that before, though, but coming back to it again, after already experiencing the beauty of the rum cask that is there, leaving the ice and the water behind, I find more of the rye notes with it neat. I will drink this. I do like this. I think it might be great, like I said, in an old-fashioned. Maybe a Sazerac, maybe a Boulevardier. I think it'd be great in those. Maybe not so much in Manhattan, but the rye notes on this, it's 95% rye, 5% barley. The rye notes on this are very strong when it's neat. The rum notes are very sedate until you get far into the finish. All right. In this corner, Angel's Envy. And I know I like this one. I've had this one before. Not this bottle, not on a Bourbcast, but at a bar, I've had this rye, and it is me liking. Now, this is 100 proof. This is 94. This is 100. So we'll see if that has any kind of bearing on anything. I need something to clean the palate. This is why I don't have many dates. I would embarrass the woman. I have it on my dating profile. Don't take me out in public. All right. Ooh. Okay. So on the nose, hands down, much more elegant than the Redemption. On the nose, oh, there's a butterscotchy type of, that's the first thing I got was butterscotch. Delightful nose. Oh, honey, maybe some molasses. Very nice. Very nice. Goodness gracious. That's gorgeous. All right, so the Angel's Envy kicks the snot out of Redemption on the nose. Easily done. That's the first knockout. Holy cow. Okay, so one of the reviewers did not like the fact that the Angel's Envy is so much sweeter than the Redemption. I think that on the nose, that is in Angel's Envy's favor. Okay. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Lots of butter. Again, I'm comparing it. Now, if I were to do this on its own, I might get different notes out of it, but compared to this one, I'm getting lots of butterscotch and honey and maybe some brown sugar. Brown sugar that I did not get to this extent in the Redemption. All right, golly, this is... I'm excited now. I almost need to do another one of these first, but I'm not gonna. All right. Way to go, champ. Wow. Okay. Whereas in this one, the rum cask stands out in the finish. comparing the two back to back, this one, the sweetness comes out. That butterscotch, that honey, that brown sugar, that molasses is just punching me in the palate. Kevin says, this is the difference between a $100 bottle versus a $35 bottle. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. But I would like to think that when somebody does the work of creating a new flavor and aging something in a rum cask, that it doesn't matter what it costs. Angel's Envy is a more expensive pour than Redemption all day, any day. Unless you go to Costco in Kentucky, then they're about the same. But anyway, this is magnificent. Now, I wish that I hadn't tried this one so I could give you a good reading of the Angel's Envy and tell you what I'm getting when it's not compared to this rye. I don't know the mash bill on this one. I should have looked that up so I could really do a great comparison. This one has more sweetness to me. I would tell you that this probably has more of a corn content. Kevin, look it up. What's the mash bill on the Angel's Envy rye? I really want to know. And I'm doing this, so you do that. You look it up for me, please. Wow, this is so much sweeter. But there's one thing that the two have in common. The rum is most present on the finish. As I sit here and I think about it and I talk about it, I'm getting rum on the finish. Now, okay, if I had to compare the two, I would tell you that this one is a lighter, less sugary rum. Maybe like what's that estate in Jamaica? The huge estate there. It's not hitting me. But anyway, the Angel's Envy is more like drinking a mix of rye and like bamboo, which was very sweet as a rum. I like bamboo. The plantation rum that I got from Jamaica, Appleton Estate. This one, I would tell you, reminds me of an Appleton Estate rum, which has sweetness if you wait for it. This one has sweetness right away, which is more like a bamboo rum. Pardon me. Butterscotch all day long. All right, let's do water. Kevin says 95% rye, 5% malted barley. All right, they have the exact same mash bill. How about that? I love that. That excites me. We did one. Kevin and I were just talking earlier tonight via Messenger about Elijah Craig rye, and about how a few weeks ago I did a Elijah Craig rye Bourbcast, and it included a rye war. That's hard to say. A rye war with Sazerac from Buffalo Trace, and two of Elijah Craig's friends, the Pikesville and the Rittenhouse, all have the exact same mash bill. Now, the Sazerac, that's a different company, different rick house, different grains, different everything. But it's the same mash bill. And I was at one of the liquor stores yesterday morning, and this was really fun. I really enjoyed myself. First of all, I met two people from Northwest Ohio Bourbon Enthusiast, which I admin. That was really cool. We got to meet Bill and Natalie. Very neat. And then, we got talking about the Elijah Craig rye. And because I was talking to Bill about the Elijah Craig, somebody in the store who is not a rye fan picked up the Elijah Craig. And I told him, I said, you're going to be happy with it because it's only 51% rye. It's a low rye rye. These are high rye ryes, 95%. That's a lot of rye. All right, so water has been added. You know I like the Redemption on water. You know Kevin likes the Redemption on water. Thank you, Kevin, by the way, for doing that. I appreciate it. I know you got my back. Get us out of this weird weather, and we'll start doing this out back on the deck and start inviting people over. All right, so redemption first. That is pleasant on water. I really like that on water. The mouth feels about the same, but by golly, the flavors change a lot with only about a ½ ounce of water. That's just nice. Really nice. All right. Same thing with the Angel Envy. I like this one better neat, just because it's so unique. I'm going to have to do a Bourbcast on this one by itself. And I had one that I was going to do next week. I may do this one, just for giggles. We'll see. All right. Wow. Everything that this thing had, this thing has sweeter. Graham cracker, molasses, butterscotch, honey. Good. This is much more of a traditional rye with a little bit of rum cask in it. This one is transformative. The Angel's Envy wins. I wanted to be able to beat it up because it was fun being able to beat up the Sazerac with the Elijah Craig Rye. The Elijah Craig Rye was so much better than the Sazerac in every way. The Sazerac was sedate compared to the Elijah Craig Rye. In this case, I was hoping that the Angel's Envy would lose. It did not. Now, it all depends on what you're into. If you want a sweeter pour, one that is more expensive, but also a little bit more transformative when it comes to the rum cask and what it does to this juice, Angel's Envy is your bottle. If you want something that's more traditionally rye, which transforms itself over water and transforms itself neat on the legs, on the finish, and is much cheaper, the Redemption Rye Rum Cask Finish, I think you will enjoy. If you like ryes, you're going to love this one. If you're hesitant about ryes, you're going to love this one. It's very sweet compared to this one. All right, Kevin's talking. I have a Basil Hayden Caribbean Rye we could have thrown into the mix. I would eviscerate Basil Hayden. The problem I have with Basil Hayden is that everything that you taste isn't on the palate. It's in the back of the throat. I haven't tried the Caribbean cask, but I have tried the regular and I've tried the toasted. And there's nothing up here. There's no palate, virtually no nose. It's low proof and overpriced for what you buy. Not a fan of Basil Hayden at all. The Caribbean cask, I'll have to take your word on it unless we get a chance to get together, Kevin. But if it's anything like the rest of them, where everything that it has to offer is in the back of my throat, that's not where I want to taste my whiskeys. I want to taste them on the palate. I want to taste them up front. I want to get them right on the tip of my tongue. I want that special note right in the center of my tongue. And Basil Hayden doesn't do any of that. I'm soapboxing. I don't mean to. Basil Hayden is just one of those that pisses me off. Because it could be so much more. And so many people like it, and that's fine. That's what this is all about. Some people like this, some people like that. Some people will like this better than this because this is more rye, this is more sweet. Others will like this better because it's more sweet. And this one is not. If you like rye, this one's your baby. If you like white wine, you might like this one. Let's finish these up. What did I miss? I do like the toasted, but not for the price. I didn't like it either. If you like Basil Hayden, fine. If it's your bag, buy it. I have not tried the Caribbean. if you're going to drink Basil Hayden, the toasted is better, but you're going to spend $10 more for it than you do on the regular, and the regular's already overpriced. Okay, they toasted the barrel. Do you know what the difference is between toasting and charring? Toasting is where they are careful with the application of the fire. They give it time, and the barrel, the wood, toasts, just like a piece of toast. You're not burning it, you're toasting it. And then you can either leave it that way or you can go with a char. Most of them will go then, after they've toasted the barrel and they've gotten it nice and hot and they've toasted it, inches or half inches in, then they'll char the barrel. 1, 2, 3, or 4 char. 1 being, I think, the least, and 4 being, I think, the most. It could be reversed, but I think that's what it is. So then you get the toast and you get the char. So there's a lot of character in that barrel that's going to not only give it color, but give it flavor. When this stuff goes into the barrels, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. It has flavor, don't get me wrong. The White Dog from Buffalo Trace, mash number 1 or mash number 2, it has flavor. It's very wine-like. But it's the barrels that impart the color and really the overall flavor. Whether you're talking about rye or bourbon or Tennessee whiskey, basically all the same thing, those barrels do their job. And these barrels did their job too. The Caribbean is fantastic. The Rum Cask is really good. One more with the water. Daniel, welcome to the show. We're almost done. Sorry. We're putting, we did a big tasting of the Redemption Rye Rum Cask tonight, the Rum Cask finish. And then once we got done with everything, we did it neat, we put it on water, and we put it on ice. That's the standard way we do things. Once we're done with that, we decided to do a matchup with the Angel's Envy Rye. I just finished the last of the Redemption Rye on water. Now I'm going to finish the last of the Angel's Envy on water. Just, even on water, just the nose was like, boom! This doesn't have the nose. This does. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Gosh, that's good. They're not the same product. I put them together tonight. I wanted to compare them, but I will not tell you that they are the same product. They are not. They're different. This is they have the same mash bill, 95 and 5. 95 rye, 5 malted barley. Same thing here. I don't know the aging of either one. I don't know how long they're in the rum casks either. This one is no more or no less than 3 months. This one I have no idea. But the difference between the two is night and day. They're not the same. They're the same, but they're not the same. Whatever they do and whatever they do is completely different. It's almost unfair to compare the two. This is its own thing. This is its own thing. If you like a high rye, you like that spice, that cinnamon, that toasted cereal of a rye, you're going to love this. If you like the butterscotches and the brown sugars and the sorghum and the molasses, and you're going to love this. And I do love this. I like them both. This is incredible. All right. That being said, I had teased the idea that I might do this by itself next week, and I might, but that's not going to be the focus of next week. Kevin's talking. I don't want to miss it. Awesome, didn't know that about toasted. How do you think about the Elijah Craig toasted? I like it. Sorry, I digress. It's all right. That's what we're here to do, is talk about this stuff. I have not had the Elijah Craig toasted. I have one, but I've not opened it. But it's funny that you mention Elijah Craig. So, as I mentioned yesterday, I went to the liquor store and I got the chance to meet a couple of people from the Northwest Ohio bourbon enthusiasts. And it was really cool. I enjoyed meeting Natalie and Bill. But one of the things that happened was on the shelf was the Elijah Craig barrel proof. And I grabbed it and I stood there with it for a little while, and then a crowd came in. And I thought, I should let somebody else have this. I've got lots of bourbon. I should let somebody else have this. So I put it back on the shelf. And it sat there for 10 minutes, and nobody picked it up. And Joey, who's behind the counter, says, I wouldn't leave that there if I was you. So I didn't. I've got the Elijah Craig barrel proof in my hand. Now, this one is not the same as the barrel proofs from previous releases. This one has a lower proof, which some people really like, some people really don't like. I don't know what I like, but I'm going to try this next Thursday on the Bourbcast. Now, before I go any further, I do want to see if there's any more holidays between now and then. One moment, please. No. We are starting tomorrow is April 1st, April Fool's Day. We'll be starting Alcohol Awareness Month, and trust me, I'm aware of my alcohol. So that's not the way they meant it, but that's the way I mean it. Next Thursday will actually be National Beer Day. So if you want to celebrate with beer, that's fine. We're going to be doing the Elijah Craig barrel proof. This one comes in at 120 proof. This is batch A122, Kevin. Did you get black licorice on the Envy? I didn't. And normally I'm very keen to black licorice because I don't care for it. I did not get that. But I will do you a favor, Daniel, because I care about you. I'm glad you're here. I will take another taste and I will search for black licorice because it's been a minute since I've had this one. So maybe this will be a fresh taste. We will see. All right. Black licorice. The batch on this, again, the barrel proof is A122, so January of this year. All right. And I think the past barrel proofs were like in the 130s. So this is a little bit more sedate. That may mean more flavor. That may mean having to add less water to it or less ice to it or whatever. But that's why I want to do this upstairs next week, because I think I'm going to put this in a cocktail. Okay. All right, so licorice, I will tell you, Daniel. I will tell you right now. Based on my palate tonight, after comparing the two, I am not finding licorice. Maybe a sense of fennel, which can be confused with licorice. Fennel is a spice. If you grind it up and make it into a tea, it's an anti-flatulent, just so you know. I had cabbage tonight, so maybe I'll make a fennel tea. Anyway, but I am not getting black licorice off of this. Carlo's with us. Hey, Carlo. Welcome. You're almost to the end, man. You missed most of it. You have to watch it when I post it, and it'll come back and it'll do the whole thing. All right. No, I'm not getting. If I really dig deep, Daniel, I'm getting the fennel, but I'm not getting it as far as a licorice note, which is a fennel note and then a lot more. And I don't like licorice, so I like it when it presents itself in the bourbons that I drink. I don't care for it as itself, and therefore I don't care for fennel that much. I wanted to like fennel. I really did. I don't. All right. No, to me, it's overwhelming. that butterscotch is just pounding me. The butterscotch and the molasses and the sorghum and the brown sugar, and God, that's delicious. Just so good. But no, not black licorice at all. All right. So next week is going to be the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, 120.8 proof. We're going to make a cocktail with it next week. I don't know what one I want to make yet. I did find, I'm so excited, I did find Demerara sugar. I've been looking for this stuff. I've ordered it twice on Amazon, and I keep getting the turbinado sugar. It's not the same thing. So, so I finally found locally some Demerara sugar. And I'm thinking I might make an old fashioned with this bad boy next week. Because Demerara sugar is the sugar that you use in an old fashioned. But I may take it up the next level, and I may make a smoked old fashioned now that I got my smoker. I think that'll be delicious. I think it'll be great with this barrel proof Elijah Craig. So join me next week, next Thursday. That'll be April 7th. Next Thursday is April 7th. So we'll be here at 7:30. Eventually, I'll make all the Bourbcast available on the website, beautifulbourbon.com. I'm still working on it. It's not ready yet, but soon that'll be ready. In the meantime, you can always go back on Facebook, and watch all the Bourbcasts there. We are on Instagram at Beautiful Bourbon, and we're starting to get these things slowly up on Rumble. Let me get the YouTube stuff done first, and then I'll jump into Rumble and do that. Daniel says, I definitely had some anise in there. That's fair. That's fair. Anise and fennel can be so closely associated. Or anise, but I think it's anise. They're so close. I would say that anise has a little bit more of a sweet edge to it, whereas fennel has more of a grain edge to it. If I had to compare the two, anise is a lot of times associated with a spice called five spice that's used in a lot of Asian food or Oriental food. You can call Asian as the people, Oriental as the food. So, or Chinese food, Japanese food, whatever. Anise, I think, is used in five spice, which is found in that, whereas fennel is not. So one, I think, is sweeter. The other one is more earthy. If I had to pick one out of this, I would tell you maybe the earthy side, which would be the fennel. It's a stretch, though, either way. I'm just not catching that. I catch licorice in a lot of the pours that I do. This is not one of them. Oh, I'm willing to try one more. Twist my arm, Daniel. I will search for it. I promise. I will search for that anise, that licorice, one more time. I love it when people challenge me. It gives me a chance to drink even more. I have to work out tomorrow morning. I'm going to show up and I don't wanna. Still working on my palate. Oh, that's fine. No, I'm not putting you down, Daniel. That's the thing about this is you're going to pick up notes on your palate that I'm not going to pick up on mine. If you like licorice, you might find that a little bit easier. If I don't, it may take me a while to find that. So that's the interesting thing. I when I do these papers, when I go through and I research these things that I do, everybody has a different take on it. Some people find this note. Some people find this note. There were notes that I read tonight that I can't agree. I didn't find any honey on this, whereas this is replete with honey. This has got honey oozing from it. I'll prove it to you. I will try this again next week before I do the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I promise. Because I feel like my palate is tainted from the Redemption. This is just so much sweeter. God, that's good. Oh, geez, oh Friday, that's good. A friend of mine says, geez, oh Friday. Sometimes he has fun with it. He calls it cheese on Friday. He went to a Christian school as he was growing up, so saying Jesus good is not gonna be. So he says, "Geez, oh Friday," and I brought that home. And now my family says when they're startled or when they're pissed or whatever, "Geez, oh Friday." You just can't get away from it. Once you start saying "Geez, oh Friday" instead of other things, it'll change everything. Promise. Next time you want to say something bad, say, geez, old Friday, and you'll never stop. And people will go, what the hell is that? You're going to go, I don't know, some guy on the internet said to say that instead. Got a ton of butterscotch and honey on the Angel's Rye. Yeah, man. You hate licorice. I'm with you. Oriental is a rug. Oriental is also a food. If you call an Asian person Oriental, it's improper. You call a food Oriental, that's proper. You can do that. I learned that from ER. the television series about the hospital, ER, many years ago. That's where I learned that. And if TV says it's right, then it's right, because you know they're right. Oink. Yeah. He wasn't talking about you. He wasn't talking about you, Daniel. He was talking about somebody else. The Geez-O Friday guy. All right, one more, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I will taste this again next Thursday, Daniel, because I'm not getting licorice. But I need to get it away from this one. This is its very own pour, and it should stand by itself. And I will do this next Thursday. So come back. Come back next Thursday, 7:30, right here, and I'll do this again before I get into the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Okay? I will see you then. Sinfully good. I do enjoy this. It's not the same pour as this. Kevin pointed out this is the $35 pour. This is a $100 pour. It probably has a little bit something to do with it, but just the mixture itself, whatever it is they're doing, they have the exact same mash bill, 95 rye, 5% barley, malted barley, but they're not the same. They're both good. This is better on water. This is good any way you want to drink it. I would not put this in a cocktail. This I would put in a cocktail. Okay? All right. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Don't take me so seriously. I don't take anything seriously. You got to get to know me, Daniel. You got to get to know me. I take nothing seriously. Ever. My life is a carnival ride. Everything about it is fun. Sometimes the dips can take my stomach away for a little while. But for the most part, I'm blessed. I'm glad to open my eyes every morning. And I hope to share that with you as you continue to come back and join me on the Bourbcast and see more about me and learn more about me. And by golly, PM me with any questions you have, and I will be happy to answer anything you want to know. In the meantime, that is it for today. We will see you next Thursday at 7:30. We're going to start off with this one just because I want to try it by itself before I do anything else. And then we're going to get into the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof 120.8. And we're going to do a cocktail, so we'll be upstairs next week. All right? So thank you very much, everybody, for coming along and joining me for this ride. This has been more fun than I expected it to be, really, with all of you here. Excuse me. And the burping. The burping, folks. Come on. I did not expect these two to be so different. That was just a lot of fun. I will see you next Thursday, 7:30, right here on Beautiful Bourbon. So follow us, check out the website, check out Instagram, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.